This video is how to replace galvanized or iron drain line under the house, the 2-inch that connects from the tub to the lav and then dumps into the main line. The way this goes is, and I'm sick of this, well, now it's going to go down because the camera's rolling, but it should actually take the water down as fast as it can come out of the shower or the spigot. And you can see it's still sitting there, and I'm tired of trying to clean this out. Sulfuric acid has worked the best to get rid of hair, and then Drano, which is just straight up lye, works pretty good. But I'm sick of it because the old pipe, you know, gets rough on the inside, and the hair and all the products that people use, you know, all these carcinogenic soaps and crap that people use to keep themselves smelling like roses, you know, it all gums up the old pipe. So we're going to cut that out, and we're going to put in ABS plastic, and it's a lot easier than you would think. This is me doing this. I make these videos for a couple homeowner friends of mine. We share videos on working on our houses. So if you get something out of it, great. If you want to watch a licensed plumber for 50 years do it, we'll go do that somewhere else. So what it does is it comes from here, connects to a vent that runs up back behind here, comes over here, connects to the lav, and the vent comes up from the back and comes across and then tees here and goes out to the roof. And then it comes over here and it dumps in to the main line, which the toilet also dumps into. So we can... So there's a T back here, one goes up, one goes down. ABS plastic is just much better. It's cheap, it's easy to work with. It doesn't take many tools to do this. So the good thing is this is not a slab. We're up 18 inches on an old pier block style house with hardwood floors. That's real oak hardwood, not that Chinese stuff that releases formaldehyde. That's old school lumber right there. So let's do it. So let's analyze what we got here from the bottom right there. That's the bottom of the tub. Right there, the wood looks great under here, doesn't it? It's old house, 50s, 40s, 50s. And you can see it comes down there to 90. And there's a 90 above it where it goes up to the vent. So then it runs this direction, and that 90 right there is the sink. Then it goes to a 45, and it almost looks like it's running uphill. I like to put a level on that, but it's either running flat or running uphill. It's hard to tell. But you want it running downhill if possible. I would hope. But so yeah, we can readjust that. Now what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to re-engineer this. I might make some slight modifications to the distances and spaces to give it more of a downhill slope, because that does not look downhill to me at all. In fact, it really looks, I don't know. Anyway, the thing I'm a bit worried about is this right here. Because usually what I would do is just take a Sawzall and just start cutting this thing out of here and replace it. That looks like 1.5 inches there going up. The main pipe is 2 inches. Down here, right there, that's a pounded lead fitting where that goes in there to the 3-inch main drain line. You can see the going up there to the toilet. So we got 1.5 inches here. Actually, this whole thing looks like this. This looks like, that looks like 2 inch. That's 1.5 inches. That looks like 1.5 inches. So anyway, look at that old cast iron trap. So the trick to this is going to be trying to get this apart, trying to get this out of here without breaking it. This is really delicate. I got to look at this and see how. Replacing it's easy, but the yeah, I think the slope is wrong here. I'd be tempted to put a level on this. And the more I look at this, the less I like it. I don't like this sharp turn here, but the way this is assembled, I don't know if I could get around that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to cut this right here, and I forget how many, 28 teeth per inch or something like that. I'm going to try the fine blade. And you got to do this with a Sawzall. You can't use a torch. You cut galvanized pipe with a torch, you'll get metal flue fever. And you only do that once, because the gases that are emitted when you cut galvanized with a torch, 3 or 4 hours after you get done, you'll get really sick. That one has been cut off. That's the one to the sink. I'm trying to cut this right here, and hopefully if I cut that, then what I'll be able to do is work that leaded piece out. I was trying to cut that one back there, but the blade kept getting hung up. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. The actual Milwaukee branded blade failed. So I'm with these have worked actually better for me. Max built Chino blades. So I'm going to try and cut this off right now. Again, that one up there is cut off. Okay, this is where this starts to suck. Okay, I got this pipe completely loose, and let's see if you can see it there. And that damn leaded thing is pounded in there so tight. I'm probably gonna have to cut this off right below the 45 there, but the problem is, or that could be a 30, I'm not sure what that is. The problem is this metal is so hard that it keeps ruining the saw blades. I'm on about the 5th saw blade, and I'm trying to cut this off up here. Trying to cut this off, and it won't cooperate. I just keep hitting, and what a bitch. Okay, the first piece is out. Should I stick my finger in it for good luck? Right here. That's hair.
Oh my gosh.
what happens is this old pipe, you get rough edges because all this rust, you get the rough edges here and it doesn't flow. Okay, going back to this now, that piece of wood there, that's just a piece of wood that's tacked on here, and you can see it right here. So what I'm going to do, you can see there's a nail in it there. I'm going to take the Sawzall and run it up through here and try and get this piece of wood out so I can get the Sawzall back behind this and cut this off. And then we have this to deal with, which started leaking from the vibration. And we also got over here. Now I was hoping it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad. There's a little bit of crust there. I'll scrape that out with a screwdriver. I need to get a flashlight so you can see in there, but let me try and get that other T out. All right, the block of wood is out, and I had to stick the pipe wrench up in this thing and bend it. You gotta be creative when you do this kind of work because, oh, nice. Well, that's not really the way I wanted to roll, but that's the way I rolled. So I'll have to clean this up. We're going to use rubber fittings here anyway. So, yeah. Oh, we got more hair in here. Let's get out and play with this. Very appetizing. Now I guess the way this comes out of here, this unscrews. So we got to stick something down in there and hopefully I can get this out. And then this, I don't know. Yeah, this doesn't want to unscrew. There's a tool that goes down in here that backs this thing out. And you know, it's been in here so long. Problem is I've started it leaking by screwing around under there, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. How am I gonna get this thing apart? Huh. All right, so there's a couple fatal flaws, in my opinion, in the way this was put together, and I might not be able to correct it because that water line's in the way. But basically we got, this is where it was plugged up right here. So this plug clean out was of little to no use. I don't like this hard right angle here, and I'd love to go 2-inch. If I could go 2-inch, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it, but if I could go 2-inch to all the way to here, this is the new style. But I'm going to have to get the other type of trap where I can put a spacer in, because you can see that this doesn't quite work. So, yeah. And I don't know what, if this is a 45, I guess it's a 45. I have to play with this. I'll let you know what I come up with. One problem with this is if you ever call like a Mike Diamond style, all we do is run a cable down your drain, $99 clean out specialist. If you were to run a cable, small snake down through the tub, you would hit this T, and you could most likely just go up and out to the roof. That's why you need these type of, so I really need this type of turn right here. Does that make sense? Day number 2. Previous clips there were from the nearby Ace hardware store. Ace is a little bit more expensive, but you don't have someone running up your ass with a shopping cart and they actually come up and say, "Can I help you find something?" And they actually kind of know their stuff, unlike the big mega stores. So you pay a little bit more, but it's worth it to support your local business. So here we go. Now when I do this, I don't write any of this down on paper or draw it. I just visualize it in my head and put it together. So here's what we've got. Starting from the 45, at least I think that looks about right. So this will couple to the 2-inch metal sticking out of the main to this. Then we'll have a 2-inch, have to cut a piece of 2-inch pipe over to here. This is the same as this right here. This is a 2-inch to 1.5 adapter to get us up to where we cut off our drain from the sink. This is a 1.5 to 2-inch. I manipulated this a little bit to try and get this whole thing up a little higher so there'd be more tilt, downflow to the pipe. So I didn't like that this was just a standard T, because like I said, if someone tried to run a snake down through here, which I doubt they would, but if they did, they'd probably end up going out to the roof anyway. So I went with a long bend here, and I got my coupler there, and then I went with a shorter turn here. I figured the velocity's pretty slow here, but the velocity should be pretty high here because it's falling down and turning and running out. So and then I went with, instead of a fixed one of these, I went with this so I could cut to my length and manipulate this the way I want. And I grabbed a short turn T for here. Now if we lay this out here, it almost comes out the same. If I was to go with the short turn T, then I can pull this up quite a bit. So I got to look at this when I'm under there. The other thing I have is I have flexibility with this because I can rotate this and swivel this around. So I have a lot more flexibility with this plastic stuff than they do with the cast pipe. So yeah, it's like a puzzle. So I think the way I'm going to put it together, well, I don't know how I'm going to put it together, but I imagine the right way to do it is to start with your fixed points. So I'll couple this onto the main, and then I'll couple this. I have to cut a little stub here, and I'll couple this, and see, I can literally push this all the way up to where that sink line is going down in here. So I'll put this on, and then I'll get this in place, and then I'll measure and I'll cut my pieces of 2-inch and 1.5 inches. Also, my main issue with this was the hair was basically in this part right here, and there's just no way to access that. You have a clean out here, but that just gets you into this. So with this, I ditched the clean out and went just with a straight elbow, because this thing being plastic, this really doesn't matter. So if this plugs up, you simply unscrew this, unbolt that rubber coupler, unbolt that rubber coupler, unbolt that rubber coupler, and just pull the whole thing out as a unit and pull it out from under the house here and clean it out. So that's a nice thing about plastic. It's serviceable, where when you use these couplers, these rubber couplers, this is serviceable. You don't need the clean outs. So the first thing I'm going to do is get this on. You can see this has got the plastic gasket in it, and then the next thing I have to do is I have to space this, get this pipe cut to get this down under this stupid water line. Let's see if this makes sense. There's our 45, there's our 90 with our 1/2 inch to 2-inch adapter, 1.5 to 2-inch adapter. Then here's the tub right here. Kind of see how I've done that. Got our coupler up there. I'm not gluing anything. What I'm doing is I'm getting it together and I'm measuring it. I don't know if we really got much downhill here or not. I guess I could measure that. Here's a look at the finished product. It's all glued together with my fingers. Is that good focus? Come on, you stupid thing. So, to get this out of here, loosen this up here at the top. Loosen this right here. Loosen that right there. Loosen that right there. Twist this one out of the way. Whole assembly drops down. Can pull it out. I'm going to do that and make sure that's clean down there. Alright, here we go. Now, if I can, hopefully the thing is draining good, you know, and now I can take CLR and clean this bathtub up because this is disgusting. Take a look underneath for leaks. It's probably going to leak a little bit right there. Yep, and we do have a little leak right here. Crap, I couldn't get that thing, man, I couldn't get that thing to turn to tighten that up, but as far as the plastic, of course, nothing's leaking. Maybe I can kind of push on that real quick and... Okay, I'm not worried about, I moved it around, I got it slowed way down, but I'm not worried about a little leak here. Where the hell is this leak coming from? You know, these will seal up probably a little bit with time. This is probably my choke point right here, this hard right angle as far as slowing the water down, but yeah, the rest of it looks good. CLR time. By the way, all these parts cost about 45 bucks. So say 50 bucks in parts to redo this. It's not quite as impressive as I would like, but sucking it down pretty quick. All right. After seriously an hour and a half, 2 hours of scraping soap scum, these people were infatuated with soap, way too much soap. I've never used a scraper to clean a bathtub and a copper Brillo pad, but after an hour or so, about 2 hours, I've got this thing cleaned up pretty good. So yeah.